Roberto Cammarelle, highly decorated Italian super heavyweight boxer. In 2005, he was at the AIBA World Championships in China, took third place. In 2007, in Chicago, he took first place. And in 2009, also at the AIBA World Championships in Milan, he took first place. He also took first place to gold at the 2008 Summer Olympic Games in Beijing. So enough said about the resume of Roberto Cammarelle. Cornelius Sheehan from Ireland, only 22. Participated in the 2009 AIBA World Championships in Milan as well. He took first place at the Irish National Championships this year. And that's what brings these two boxers head to head. Cammarelle in the red corner, Sheehan in the blue. The big boys. Cammarelle keeps his hands up well, shows some good body movement. Sheehan with a wild left hand. Cammarelle doesn't mind staying in the pocket, as you could see. Got big broad shoulders, and he could certainly pack a wallop. He's beaten the best in the world and is considered by many himself the best in the world. Now Cammarelle not showing too much body movement there. Seems very confident to stay there and just trade with Sheehan. The question is, will Sheehan do that as well? Cammarelle boxing in the southpaw stance. Sheehan orthodox. Again, as we've said, that can create some stylistic snafus, particularly with the two lead feet of the opponents stepping on one another, but there's a nice strong right hand by Cammarelle. Slips it through the guard of Sheehan. A left to the body by Cammarelle. Sheehan looking like he's got a little more energy in there. Somewhat lethargic looking as Cammarelle. However, we know his style is effective. At 31 years old, the question is, will he ever slow down beyond his rate? And the answer must be yes, but he seems fairly unbeatable for the most part, although he has been beaten. They say, the old Whitey Bimstein once said, show me a boxer with an undefeated record and I'll show you a boxer that hasn't fought anyone worthwhile. So Cammarelle no different. He has been beaten, however, not often. Sheehan, a youngster, which were just 22 years old, not nearly the level of experience and pedigree of Cammarelle. Showing a lot of poise so far, standing in there with the big man. Willing to push his own weight around. And as we see Cammarelle looking calm, cool, collected. Leads forward with a right hand jab, a feint, and Sheehan doesn't fall for it. He stands right there in the pocket, and now Cammarelle starts to apply the pressure. He's in there. He had an opportunity where he had Sheehan up against the ropes, but he didn't capitalize on it, and that's the end of round number one. So Cammarelle, you can see in the replay here, in the last round, Sheehan tries to get inside. Cammarelle throws a right and a left, both which miss. Sheehan does a good job staying out of harm's way on that. A left to the body by Cammarelle. And there's a left by Sheehan, and he stays. You know, it looks like Sheehan's best served by staying on the chest of Cammarelle. In this instance, Cammarelle doesn't seem to like to be crowded. Cammarelle has a 6-3 lead going into the second round. However, that's nothing insurmountable for Cornelius Sheehan. Particularly, I think his chances are greatest when he tries to smother Cammarelle and stay to his chest. If Cammarelle continues to set the pace, Sheehan's going to find himself, I think, on the receiving end of a superior ring general. If, however, Sheehan could crowd Cammarelle and not be concerned about what Cammarelle's bringing, he may be able to fluster the big man. And you could see the toes being stepped on by Sheehan, or rather the toes of Sheehan being stepped on, usually right there as well, by Cammarelle, as they try and make their way through this delicate dance. Left hook by Sheehan, falls short, and here comes Sheehan with a right to the body. Cammarelle staying in the pocket, keeping his hands at a medium level, not that high, which may provide an opportunity for Sheehan to catch him off guard if he could throw some more punches. But Sheehan seems a little intimidated, perhaps by the moment, perhaps by his opponent, but he's not really throwing that many punches, although he has no trouble pushing Cammarelle off of him to show that maybe he's not intimidated, but he really ought to throw more punches. He must be concerned about the counterpunching technique of Roberto Cammarelle. To Cammarelle's credit, he's got very good reflexes for a big man. That's what allows him to stay in the pocket like that with his hands low and not be too concerned about getting hit. He does a good job slipping a lot of his opponent's punches, and that is an extremely valuable asset for any boxer, particularly the big men. Of course, it's also harder to throw a punch when your hands are down there. When they're up a little higher, it would be a shorter distance for them to travel, at least to the opponent's head, which is primarily Cammarelle's target zone. He doesn't seem to throw too many body shots. He is going for the head primarily, so if his hands are up higher, he's got a shorter distance to throw straight punches. Now Cammarelle's going to have his chin guard, or rather his headgear. Is that going to be replaced, or they're just going to adjust the chin strap? And Cammarelle makes his way back into the ring. Two gladiators here. Cammarelle bobbing and weaving a little bit, showing some upper body movement. Chops are right to the head of Sheehan. That's to his left temple, and Sheehan, for the most part, holding his ground. He's got his hands up high. He's showing the defense. If he could just let his hands go a little more, he may be able to dent this deficit that he's got, that he had coming into this round. There's some nice work by Sheehan, starting to let his hands go a little bit. Cammarelle almost emotionless as he plies his trade there in the center of the ring. And now it's a 15-8 margin for the Italian. So he's up 7 points. You see here the work he's doing down to the body as he's got Sheehan up against the ropes. Here's where the chin strap starts to rise above, get in the way a little bit. And he's just throwing those punches there. He's getting them inside the guard and around the guard as well, both inside and outside of Sheehan. And as a result, Sheehan finds himself down 7 points in this bout. So what shall be the case for Cornelius Sheehan? Boxes out of Clonmel Boxing Club. Cammarelle from Cinisello Balsamo, 191 centimeters, 102 kilograms. Here comes Cammarelle. Looks like he's going to start to let his hands go a little bit more, and Sheehan as well. Sheehan has no choice in the matter. He needs to. And look at the way Cammarelle comes in. His hands are so low. You almost wonder if Sheehan's crazy for not going for it. Perhaps that's exactly Cammarelle's point. He's trying to leave his hands low so that he could literally beg or convince Sheehan to throw punches just so he could snap him with the counter punch, because we know he's got good reflexes. He maybe wants that punch to come in. He could duck it or counter punch it and then come back and take advantage of Sheehan, but Sheehan's just not falling for it, much to his detriment, because if he's not going to throw punches when Cammarelle's hands are down, then he's not going to throw punches ever. Certainly doesn't make sense to throw them when they're up. So now Sheehan is going to go back to his neutral corner, Looks like there's a little blood on the nose, perhaps a lot of blood on the nose of Sheehan. Those heavy hands of Cammarelle finally taking their toll on the face of Cornelius Sheehan. And he's got blood coming out of his mouth, perhaps a split lip there. Cammarelle sees the blood, he's seen it before. He's going to continue to target that area. Although Sheehan doesn't seem to be bothered by it, almost didn't even notice, or it didn't seem like he noticed. And Cammarelle again just methodically going to work his way in there. Cammarelle with a double right hook over the left guard of Sheehan, scored to the left temple, and now the referee is going to get Sheehan back to the corner again, perhaps even get the doctor to take a look at the nose. And yes, you got some very qualified AIBA medical staff on hand, and maybe nothing more than a bloody nose. However, the doc's not going to take any chances. He wants to take a closer look with the flashlight and make sure that there's no more serious damage. This will be very interesting to see if the doc's going to let him continue. Could it be a broken nose? Could it be worse? Is it just a simple bloody nose? And they're going to let him continue, so Cornelius Sheehan gets a third chance at this, and that's it. The Irish corner says, well, you know what? If the doc's not going to stop it, we're going to stop it. Sheehan didn't want it to end. Cammarelle picked up the towel, handed it back to the Irish corner, and Roberto Cammarelle, just like that, secures himself another spot, this time in the London Olympics next summer, as well as continuing on tomorrow to the semifinals. So congratulations to Roberto Cammarelle on another well-earned victory, and Cornelius Sheehan, congratulations on showing some good fighting spirit, some good heart, determination. Nothing to be ashamed of, kid. You fought your heart out, you did what you could. You didn't wilter, you didn't falter. The fight was stopped, not by your choice, and you'll be back. We know you will. And Roberto Cammarelle with some congratulatory words to the other side, and a nod to the referee, and out he goes. You could see some action right here from the last round. Cammarelle just staying right in the pocket.